People always ask me this question, so I'm just gonna do a video ranking each and every individual modern day drum sampler. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be very controversial, but I'm gonna try to weigh in with as much knowledge as possible. I have played with every single last one of them. Some I have not done reviews on this channel, and you'll see why in a second. Oh boy, this is gonna be messy. But leave a comment below and let me know which one do you think is the best out of the list, and what do you rank them? So to explain my tier list, I have great, good, meh, basic as fuck, ass. I bet you want to know which one's going to be in that ass category. Oh yeah, it's going to be one that's in there. The meh category means it's okay. Like, it's just okay. It's like, meh, you know. But I'll just go ahead and get it out the way. I'm pretty sure everybody knows what I'm going to rate as the great ones. I will definitely put the MPCX in there. Really no true explanation necessary. I think for the value of, well, the original MPCX, if you can get one before it's discontinued, $1,500, or just getting it used for about $1,500 or whatever, phenomenal. Especially if you play guitars, record vocals and so forth. Has all the IO, the MPC firmware is in a pretty good place. The addition of standalone plugins and stuff like that, which Jura is phenomenal, and the Fabric collection is pretty damn dope. It's bare essential if you really want to make beats on there without using any samples. And some of the free plugins are okay. You know, I think Hype Synth, you know, since it's on the MPC now, I started off on a Kai Force, it was a great addition, and Mellotron is pretty dope. I've seen some pretty dope, you know, tracks, or heard some pretty dope tracks made with that. Yeah, so let's just get it out of the way. I'll just go ahead and put all the MPCs up here. You know, the Key 61, a good alternative, and I think it costs less too. And it just gives you keys, and it's a different workflow. All these are different workflows, by the way. And with the Live 2 kind of like sandwiched in there, I think the Live 2 is, you know, I favorite it over the MPC 1. You know, the MPC 1 Plus, I just hope that, you know, Akai waits to put out another MPC, you know, give it that it's refreshed and, you know, brand new, and don't just drop no stuff. Now, one thing I will say, in the meh category, I will put the Akai Force in the meh category. How many people will agree with me on that one? And it's only meh because I'm not really for the 64 pad layout. It's great, and some of the things that Akai did with, you know, if you have like the 16, if you're doing drums and stuff like that, you can do filters, and you can have like different ways to arrange or affect the sound in real time. So it's a performance beast. But one of the biggest things I don't like about it though is the convoluted workflow. Like, it's too many buttons on there, in my opinion. And for someone that's just like stepping in from like the DAW world, it can get a little bit overwhelming. And even if you're not from the DAW world, it could be a little overwhelming as well. You know, clip-based workflow, I think it's pretty good. It does have a full-on linear arranger. And, you know, if you're not into song mode on the MPC, which is the biggest cry of everybody right now as far as the MPC workflow, they don't like the fact that you have to arrange stuff in songs and stuff like that, or in patterns, similar to like FL Studio, but ironically, FL Gang is getting on it. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Akai Force, you know, and I will put something else in the meh category. First impressions, I wasn't really impressed with the Push 3. I thought it was really good. I like the Ableton software and stuff like that, which, you know, begs the question, why in the world did Ableton release a $2,000 standalone groove box and you don't get this full-on suite version of the software? I get it, it's a full DAW and all that, we can make that argument, but the fact that it does not have a native arranger on it, like no way to arrange your beat on that thing, dude, that's kind of disrespectful. Especially given that, you know, all the functionality on the standalone device itself wouldn't function with the intro version of the damn software. Bruh, that was a bad look from, you know, Ableton or whatever. And Push 3, and it has some issues. And then the fact that you can only transfer files wirelessly. Some of us just like using storage-based ecosystems like an external hard drive or an SD card. You don't have that on the Push 3. I don't think that was a very good design call there, or just mechanical engineering wise, in the past are okay. You know, they're a little better. I'll put that in front of the Akai Force, given that the time stretch on that is second to none. It will be in a good category, but I'm gonna wait. Every groovebox has its issues, or drum sampler has its issues on release, so I'm disregarding a lot of the other stuff. We never know, we'll see, but right now it's just meh. One I will put in the good category though, I'll put the Electron DigiTakt in there. It would be in a great category if the hard drive space was bigger on the unit. Everything about the workflow is totally different than the MPC, though they have adopted some of the workflow, especially with the song mode and stuff like that. And big shout out to Enrique and Mario and them over there at Electron. But I do think that this unit is very good. I think that the price is a little bit much for what they're asking, and the fact that you can't, you know, expand the hard drive by just like connecting an external hard drive or SD card slot. I always thought that was weird by Electron, but you know, I don't know. It is what it is, but the transfer software is really good. And the fact that you have overbridge, I wouldn't sleep on that. And I'm probably gonna explore that in the video. So another one, I'm just gonna go ahead and tackle this. I'm gonna put this right behind the Akai Force, and that is the Machine Plus. Bruh, what a big disappointment this unit is to me, in my opinion. Now, the disappointment isn't the fact that the workflow is bad or anything like that. It has an arranger. It can, you know, do a whole bunch more than the Push 3 in terms of a clip-based workflow. The pads are phenomenal. I think they're better than the MPC series as of right now. When we're talking about modern drum samplers, the pads feel phenomenal. The sampling is kind of basic, but at the same time, good enough for what you need to do. You have lazy chop, you have BPM chopping, and those are things that I believe are pretty strong. But yeah, there are things like, after 3 years, the Machine Plus still has crashing issues. I think that's ridiculous that it has so many different crashing issues. And one of the biggest things that stopped me from using it has to be the fact that even if it doesn't crash and you save a beat, sometimes the file will, when you turn it off, mind you, no problems with the whole entire workflow process, the file still is corrupt. And not to mention the CPU usage on here is just an abomination. And if you already know how Native Instruments works, I'm not signed to an NDA or anything. I promise you that you will see a Machine Studio very soon, and it will cost more money, and it will address all the issues, and all the people that have a Machine Plus will feel like shit, like everybody else always does when you buy something from Native Instruments. Wow. Yeah, it's gonna happen. Watch, it's gonna happen. So moving on into the good category, I will definitely want to put the Polyend Tracker. I don't have the Polyend Tracker Mini, but my experience with the Polyend Tracker, it was phenomenal. First of all, there's nothing like it on the market. I know there's an M8 tracker or whatever. Come on, dog. Nah, bruh. Not even. I'm not even fucking with that. The Polyend Tracker is where it's at. On everything I love. It is probably one of the most interesting drum samplers that you can get. Yes, I know it doesn't have like the plug-in ecosystem of the MPC series. Come on, dog. Just use one shot. Sample. It's a sampler. Sample. The pads clearly are a joke on there, but at the same time, it's supposed to model like the Commodore Amiga and My Tracker type vibes, and it does a great job of that. And I'm not tripping off of it. You can still use it. It's usable. And it has all the functionality of every modern day groovebox that costs more than it costs. So yeah, dog, don't sleep on the Polyend Tracker. If you're looking for something different, even if you have an MPC already or any other sampler, try the Polyend Tracker. Trust me when I say this, you're gonna like it. Another groovebox I think that is good, and for the value of $400 is definitely the Sample Track. Now, it didn't start off that way. There was a lot on release that was terrible, and I, you know, basically told everybody that because I wasn't trying to sell this product to you. I was trying to review it, and it was for what we do on the channel or whatnot, or what I do. I'm talking like I got another personality or something like that. Maybe I do. Maybe I'm a little crazy. Yeah, I'm a little crazy. But the Sample Track is at its current state right now very good. Sample chopping is one of the closest samplers that you will get that will have more of a vintage workflow. To be honest, there's only another one that's like that. It's very close to the micro timing that is on the MPC 3000. So when you have the 3000, if you're a 3000 owner, if you turn off the timing correct, you have node off mode or whatnot, and it still quantizes in micro increments like 128, 356. And if you want that kind of vibe, that's how the sample track works in that sense, minus the fact that the MPC 3000 doesn't display waveforms or waveforms. I know that triggers people, but yeah, it does display waveforms, and it has a lot of good things. It just has a whole bunch going for it. Speaking of which, I definitely want to put this up here. It's in a good category, but it could actually go right about here. I'll put it right here. No, not in front of the Polygon tracker, no. But I'll say the Novation Circuit Rhythm is a very good investment. I think it's like about 400 bucks. It doesn't have a screen on it. I think that's the biggest hang up of this unit. But at the same time, it is very close to the MPC 3000 workflow. It's very limited in what you can do, but you have the component software that you can hook up to it. And I think that Novation does a phenomenal job with interfacing with the computer and being able to do stuff through a web browser. I think that's quite unique. Maybe not the workflow that everybody wants, but yeah, it's still a very good sampler. The effects sound very good on it. The sequencer feels very good. You can't unquantize fully, you know, like it won't be pinpoint accurate. That's where the micro timing comes in, but it's more like the MPC 3000. And if you guys are MPC 3000 heads that, you know, want to explore something with more of a modern workflow, yeah, I would recommend the Novation Circuit Rhythm. Absolutely. You can see the inspiration from like Enrique, even though he's not over there anymore at Novation. Now this one is going to be a shocker. I would definitely have to put this over here in the mech category. It's and I don't use it as much as I used to, and that's the SP404 Mark II. The workflow is very convoluted now. Though they have done a phenomenal job with the updates, you will find yourself, if you're not practicing it every single day, you'll probably forget those shortcuts. But those new shortcuts are essential to the workflow. One of the biggest things that I have as far as an issue with the SP404 Mark II is that the workflow in itself is kind of clunky. It's not as streamlined as any of the other groove boxes on this list right here. That's why I put it in this area, because, you know, when you're trying to record stuff, dude, like having to stop and go back and do this and do that, that's kind of annoying. It's very annoying, honestly, but the effects are the thing that Roland excels at, and it's just not workflow. That's tried and true to like the Phantom and another groove box I'm gonna talk about, which I think is basic as fucking. That's the MV1. The sampling on there was atrocious. It could sample, but it was atrocious, terrible. Now the time stretch was great on there, but the other things about this sampler, mind you, that it's more of a groove box than it is a sampler. You know what I'm saying? It's not hybrid, but the sounds on it is phenomenal. So if you buying it for the sounds, and if you're buying it to like record vocals and stuff like that, if you want to that struggle, yeah, it's great. And then it has a built-in microphone. That's why I thought the potential of this thing, and it was very hard to review because of that onset thing. But other than that, it's pretty unique in this workflow. And honestly, if the sampling was better, it'd probably be in the good category, but I'm gonna put it in the basic category right over here. This one's gonna be very unique. I think a lot of people may not agree or not agree. I'm gonna put this in a good category. Yes, the Microfreak can sample now. It does granular synthesis, which takes stuff from audio files and breaks it up in bits and grains. It's great, it's great. Mind you that if this was a synth tier list, it will probably be right in the front because of the value, the price point, and so forth. All that can be ignored when it comes to the Microfreak, but as far as like sampling and stuff like that, I think it's great. I would say the same. Nah, you know what? I'll be nice enough and be realistic and say, man, you know what I'm saying? And then I will put this in front of it, which is the Electron model samples. The model samples, you know, you can use samples. You can't chop samples. However, the workflow on the Electron model samples is actually pretty good. To be honest, it's on the same level as the DigiTakt, minus the fact that you can't chop samples in it. And that's the disappointing thing about it. But the price point is around like $300-400. You know, it's one of the cheaper units from Electron. Mind you, that Electron is always expensive. I think it's pretty inexpensive for what it does, and the samples that come with it are pretty good. I just wouldn't, you know, bet all my chips on making tracks on it. Just put it that way. One I think is very interesting, I'll probably say it's the leader, or right around here. No, I actually will put it in the good department, to be fair, is the Teenage Engineering Pocket Operator 33. And the only reason why I have it in the good category over some of the other groove boxes that are major would probably be the price point and just the simplicity of it. It's pretty easy to go and sample some stuff, and you know, it's very portable, very good. I mean, you know, you would try it out. I mean, for $100, you can't knock that. You can't knock that for a sampler. I'm just saying. Another one I think is worth trying, and I think it's probably around here in the med category. So yeah, it's okay. Lo-Fi 12. I thought it was very good. I honestly enjoy working with it, but again, there's things that Sonicware does that makes me just want to pull out. I don't have any hair. I guess pull out my facial hair, I guess. Bruh. But yeah, the polyphony limitations on it, the sequencer is a bit rough, but you can chop samples on it, and you can load up one shots, and you can sample into it. Those are things that I think Sonicware did pretty decently on. And then the price point is really good. The battery life is phenomenal on any of the Sonicware Livens. So the Liven Lo-Fi 12, very good. And all the other Livens, I have almost every single one of them except for the XFM or whatever, and the other one that they just released that's pretty much the same damn thing as the Lo-Fi 12. Another one that I have or had, and I think it's pretty good for what it is the Core Voca Sample 2. I think it's probably in between, right about here. It's okay, and you know, for the price point, it will probably put it in good category, but I'll just go ahead and put it in okay. You can load samples via the iOS app, or yeah, I think it might be on Android. I don't know. I have an Apple product, so you know, usually they aim for Apple products. And yeah, if you want to load samples in there that way, it's really good. It can sample into it, and yeah, the workflow isn't bad. I think the Voca series in general is great. The reason why I don't have my Voca Sample 2 is because I had a chance to get the Voca Modular, which is harder to get. And so I exchanged that at Guitar Center, and yeah. And now, for that ass category, there is one sampler that deserves to be in this place. And that happens to be the OP1. Oh boy, I know a lot of people are gonna be mad, they're gonna have smoke for me, but I don't even give a damn. Bruh, I'm gonna tell it like it is. For something that's $2,000, I can't imagine why in the world anybody would wanna pay for this outside of it being portable. The battery life on there is phenomenal. I had the original OP1, and I paid $700 for it used. And it was kind of worth it at the particular time. That's because all of these didn't exist. Now, they made little to no adjustments to the OP1 feel. They just kept everything the same. And I understand the main reason why they would want to do that, but they didn't really add much to it. 4-track limitation, synth engine, pretty much a joke, to be honest. You know, forget all the synth nerds and coffee drinkers out there. Fuck all that. Bruh, this is a big waste of your money if you want to purchase it. And I think Teenage Engineering is playing with you guys, your intellect, when you are purchasing OP1, to be fair. And I know people won't agree with me on that, but I don't give a damn. Dude, $2,000. For $2,000, you can get the brand new MPC XSE, or any of these. You can get any of these. You can, if you don't buy the XSE, you can buy like 3 or 4 of these samplers and pretty much have a better experience. Screw that. No, I don't recommend it at all. No. No. To the right of me, I have more content for that ass. Make sure that you subscribe. Let me know how you feel about this tier list. Do you think it was outrageous? What do you want to argue about? I'm pretty sure there's someone out there that's going to cry about something. And that's cool, because guess what? It is okay with me. Let's cry together.